The rumors had been alive for almost a decade, whispered in fan forums, splashed across tabloids, and dissected in every interview Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson ever gave. No matter how many years passed, how many films they did apart, or how different their lives became, one question never seemed to die. Are Jamie and Dakota still connected? But all of that changed one afternoon when Jamie Dornan finally broke his silence. It happened during a press junket for his latest film. He was calm, collected, dressed in a simple navy suit, but there was a weight behind his smile. The kind of look a man wears when he's about to say something the world won't forget. The interviewer, like so many before, couldn't resist bringing up Dakota's name. "You and Dakota Johnson shared something really special on screen," the journalist began. "Fans still believe there's more to the story, that there's something real between you two. What do you say to that?" Jamie exhaled slowly, pausing before answering. He looked down for a moment, then back up with quiet determination. "People need to let go of the fantasy," he said, his voice steady but firm. "Dakota and I shared a story on screen, not a life off it." It was only one sentence, but it sent shockwaves through Hollywood. Within minutes, headlines exploded across the internet. "Jamie Dornan ends the rumors. It's finally over. Jamie speaks." On social media, fans went into a frenzy. Some were heartbroken, others in disbelief. One tweet read, "It's like hearing your favorite love story wasn't real after all." Another said, "He sounds angry. Is there more behind those words?" But Jamie wasn't angry, he was tired. For years, he had carried the weight of a narrative he didn't control. Every smile with Dakota, every moment of kindness between them had been twisted into proof of a secret romance. It didn't matter that both had repeatedly said they were just friends, or that Jamie had a wife and children he adored. The world wanted a fantasy, and no one was ready to let it go. What most people didn't know was that Jamie had stayed silent all these years out of respect, not just for Dakota, but for the connection they shared. He never wanted his words to sound like a rejection of her or what they had created together. But the constant headlines, the speculation, and the subtle damage it caused to his personal life had finally reached a breaking point. Insiders revealed that in recent months, the rumors had resurfaced stronger than ever. After Dakota mentioned Jamie fondly in a recent interview, social media had reignited the old love story theories. Suddenly, the internet was buzzing again. "They're talking more. Something's going on behind the scenes." It was relentless. Behind closed doors, Jamie confided in a close friend, saying, "It's unfair to everyone. To her, to Amelia, to me. People are building a story that doesn't exist." So when the question came during that interview, he didn't plan to make headlines, but he knew he had to end the cycle. Still, even as his words traveled across the world, fans refused to accept them. Comment sections filled with denial. "He's just protecting her," one wrote. "Of course they're still in love, he just can't say it." But for those who looked closely at his tone, his expression, and the heaviness in his eyes, it wasn't denial or coldness they saw, it was closure. Dakota Johnson, meanwhile, stayed silent. She didn't post, didn't tweet, didn't respond. Her quietness only fueled more speculation. Was she hurt? Was she blindsided? Or was this something they had both agreed needed to happen? A journalist at the event later revealed that after the cameras stopped rolling, Jamie sat for a moment in reflective silence. He didn't seem proud of his words, he seemed relieved. "It felt like he was finally putting something to rest," the reporter said. But even as his statement spread like wildfire, one question remained. Was it truly the end of the story, or just the end of what the world thought it was? Because behind the calmness of Jamie's tone, there was something else. A flicker of emotion, a quiet sadness that only those who truly knew him could see. He had closed the door publicly, but privately, some wondered if the echoes of that connection, the laughter, the trust, the unspoken understanding, might still live quietly in his heart. And as the headlines screamed, "It's over," the world forgot that sometimes, ending the rumor doesn't mean ending the feeling. The interview clip had barely been online for 24 hours when the ripple turned into a tidal wave. Every entertainment outlet from Los Angeles to London was running the same headline: Jamie Dornan ends the rumors once and for all. Fans couldn't stop talking. Some called it brave, others called it cold. But everyone agreed. This was the moment that changed everything. For the first time in nearly 10 years, Jamie had spoken with finality. Yet while the internet dissected every word, every pause, and every breath of that statement, few people noticed what was really behind it. This wasn't a man dismissing a rumor. It was a man protecting something fragile, something sacred. According to a close friend, Jamie hadn't decided to speak on impulse. The weight of the speculation had been building for months. After Dakota's emotional farewell speech weeks earlier, where she mentioned him by name, fans reignited the fantasy. Old photos resurfaced, videos trended again, and even new gossip blogs started connecting dots that didn't exist. It became unbearable, the friends said. Jamie wasn't angry at Dakota, he was worried for both of them. He knew they'd never truly escape the narrative unless he said something definitive. And so, he did. But ending a story that millions of people have built in their minds is never easy. The backlash was instant. Hashtags like #Jamie defends Dakota and #he did her wrong started trending side by side. Some accused him of shutting down something beautiful. Others praised him for finally setting the record straight. Meanwhile, Dakota Johnson stayed quiet. No interviews, no statements, not even a post. Her silence was deafening, and in Hollywood, silence always speaks the loudest. Insiders close to Dakota later revealed that she wasn't angry or surprised. In fact, she had known about Jamie's decision days before it went public. He told her in advance, one source said. He said he needed to do it, not out of disrespect, but to stop the noise. Dakota understood. She told him, "Do what you have to do." Still, hearing those words in public, "People need to let go of the fantasy," hit her harder than she expected. She'd always been proud of what they created together, the trust, the friendship, the chemistry that transcended acting. It was never romantic in the traditional sense, but it was intimate in ways only they understood. To have it reduced to a fantasy stung, even if she knew what he meant. A few days later, Dakota was spotted in New York, leaving a hotel in a long black coat and dark glasses. Paparazzi shouted questions. "Dakota, have you spoken to Jamie? Are you upset by his comments?" She didn't answer, but when one reporter called out, "Do you still care about him?" she turned, smiled faintly, and said, "Always." That one word, "always," went viral in hours. Fans declared it the perfect response. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't defensive. It was simple, honest, and true. Behind the scenes, Jamie reportedly saw the clip while on set. A crew member noticed him watching it quietly between takes. He didn't say a word, but after a long pause, he whispered, "That's just who she is, pure heart." In that moment, he knew the chapter was finally closing, not in bitterness, but in peace. The following week, during a sit-down interview promoting his new project, Jamie was asked one last question about Dakota. The host smiled and said, "After all these years, what would you say she means to you?" Jamie took a deep breath, then replied softly, "She's family. You go through something that intense together, and it never really leaves you. But we've both moved on. We're happy, and that's what matters." It wasn't the fiery headline fans wanted, but it was the truth they needed. After that, the noise began to fade. For once, Jamie and Dakota's names stopped appearing side by side in gossip columns. The world seemed to finally understand. Their connection had been real, yes, but it belonged to another time, another version of who they once were. Months later, they crossed paths again at a private event in Los Angeles. No cameras, no microphones, just a quiet reunion between two people who had once shared the most public story in the world. Witnesses said they hugged for a long time. Dakota told him she was proud. Jamie smiled and said, "We finally made it out, didn't we?" She laughed through tears. "Yeah," she said, "we did." That was it. No scandal, no drama, just closure. And maybe that's what Jamie's shocking statement was truly about all along. Not ending something, but freeing it. Because in Hollywood, stories rarely end cleanly. But for Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson, the end wasn't about loss, it was about peace. As one insider summed it up best, they'll always care for each other. They just learned how to let the world stop watching.